what I would like to inform you that we have done a series of programs in different parts of India, and those were general programs. Even today the program is general. The reason why we've written the focus on the auto sector is we want to get more feedback from the auto companies about what they feel about the credit reporting. So that's the reason why we are focusing more on the auto companies. It's not that the program is only for the auto companies, the program is for everybody.
Just a quick slide. I mean, this is a little dated, but it just shows that a significant segment, or a significant percentage of the MSME sector are in the informal or no financing zone, so to say. They either use their own funds or they borrow money from the private sector, friends and family and that kind of stuff. And increasingly with globalization, with e-commerce coming in, there is going to be a need for more money. And that more money is being recognized, and that need has been recognized by the lenders, and therefore they are also willing to reach out. You will see smaller banks, medium-sized banks, even large banks working closely with e-commerce sites to find how they can increase working capital loans to people who are selling through e-commerce sites, for example. So again, as I said, there are many options possible now. You have commercial banks, you have the NBF, non-banking financial institutions, you have microfinance companies, you have the new small banks which have now started operations, you have regional rural banks, you have development banks, you have cooperative banks, you have housing finance companies if you want a housing loan, and then of course if you're in the export business, you have an Exim Bank. These are the options. All of you probably at some stage or the other dealt with some of them. And when you do, the lender will obviously obtain your balance sheet and your profit and loss and all that stuff.
The IFC, as part of the World Bank Group, invests in a lot of financial institutions, which in turn have a lot of focus towards the SME finance sector. So that was at a broad level that SME financing is a key area of focus. Within SME financing, while investments and working with financial institutions and banks is one of the important topics, we also work very often with the SME sector, such as yourself, with the industry segment. And one of the things which we found while working on our existing project was that the understanding of credit information is something which isn't very strong with both financial institutions, which do still have a good understanding, but the understanding of how to use the credit information coming from the SME sector, that is something which is slightly lacking. And for the SMEs themselves, the difference between what is a credit report, what is a credit rating, this is something which we have seen is often comes across as an area of concern or not complete understanding. So one of the things which the World Bank Group has been trying to do over the last year and a half, 2 years on our credit reporting project is to really engage with the SME sector to really talk about what is credit reporting. Basically differentiate between credit rating, credit reporting, talk about the good practices. Ultimately, this is all again going to lead to more finance, better finance coming in from the banks. So having a good understanding of credit reporting is very important. As part of the World Bank Group, we are working with all the 4 credit bureaus in the country. CIBIL, most of you would have heard of, and I'm sure a lot of you would have also heard of the 3 new bureaus which came up 5 years ago in India: Experian, CRIF, Highmark and Equifax. So these are these 4 partners, 4 credit bureaus which the World Bank Group is working with. We're working with financial institutions and banks, and we're working with SMEs and associations like FISME, again to really increase the knowledge and understanding of credit reporting within the SME community. Now, one important topic also to mention is that as part of the World Bank Group, we often talk to the regulator, we often talk to the RBI. The RBI in turn has a lot of inputs coming in from the SMEs, from the FI segment. And what the RBI had told us when we went to them to speak about this topic, that we are working on credit reporting, we are doing a lot of training programs, we are doing a lot of capacity building of SMEs and banks. They mentioned that one of the important topics is on alternate data. So as of right now, there is certain amount of information which gets captured from SMEs on the basis of which banks then give credit or credit terms to the SME segment. But that might not be the full picture. The idea again is to try and capture that other than the immediate snapshot, of the information, the financial information being captured, to try and see what kind of dynamic information, trade credit information can also be actually captured. The ultimate result being that we do want that for the SME sector, for the industry sector,